Good morning, Alpha 40 fans. Welcome to my monthly deck tech and discussion video for September 2024. What we're looking at is the deck I ran in the monthly league for August 2024. It was a Blue White Control Stasis Time Twister Black Vise deck that ran 9 basic islands, 3 dual lands, Tropical Island, Tundra, Savannah, 4 basic plains, 10 blue spells, copy artifact, time twister, mana short, 2 power sinks, 2 psionic blasts, 1 copy of clone, 1 copy of stasis, 1 copy of volcanic eruption, 1 green regrowth as the draw group spell. Second time I've run that, trying this over demonic tutor as the black draw group spell card. Sarah Angel for the white spells, 2 swords of plowshares, 2 disenchants, and circle of protection blue. So I was attempting to prevent the damage from psionic blast or volcanic eruption when I did direct damage to my opponent or their creatures. Artifacts, I'm running the 3 black vices, 1 ivory cup to gain life off of the white spells. I was hoping to run into another red-white Orcish artillery deck, but we did not see any this month. Soul Ring, Chaos Orb is a destruction spell. It works a little bit better than Balance when we want to keep cards in our opponent's hands. And Icy Manipulator to also help tap things down for the stasis effect. We only ran into 1 deck last month. It was a short month for me. I had a vacation and a funeral to fit in there. So I had 1 match completed against a mono black deck that had Pestilence, Sengir Vampire, Hypnotic Specters, and Sinkholes, which were very effective against my dual lands. When I played Tropical Island, they were an easy target for the Sinkhole, which actually kept me off regrowth, which means I couldn't regrow the Time Twister. So I'm going to change that up a little bit this month. I'm going to put in Karma this month. This is an enchantment for 2 colorless and 2 white that does 1 damage to each player for any swamp they haven't played during their upkeep. It affects both players. Luckily, I don't have any swamp or black mana sources in this deck, so it should not do any damage to me. So I'm going to put Karma in the deck. I'm going to take out Stasis and get away from the prison build. Be less reliant on tapping things down, and also less reliant on having as much blue mana to pay for Stasis. So Stasis comes out, Karma comes in. I'll let you know how that works out this month. I'm going to equalize the mana base a little bit. I'm going to add in 1 copy of Plains to be able to cast the Karma and Sarah Angel a little more effectively, and then that means I can take out this basic island, can come out now that I don't need to pay for stasis as much. I'm also going to put in 1 basic forest. I found that only having 2 green sources made it a little harder to cast regrowth. So just to prepare for that, I'm going to put in 1 basic forest to help with the regrowth. That means I could also add in this giant growth for a little more offense. I can put this on the Sarah Angel when I attack. Perhaps I can clone the Sarah Angel and put giant growth on the clone Sarah Angel. So I'm going to add that in just as a fun card this month. It probably should be a Berserk, but I don't have a Berserk, so I'm going to keep that on my watch list and try to pick one up in MagicCon Las Vegas in a couple of months. I'm hoping that there will be a World Championships of Alpha 40, so I'm going to kind of tweak this deck over the next couple of months to make it the most versatile deck I can and bring it with me to Las Vegas to play in the tournament. I'm going to take out Circle of Protection Blue. This was sort of a combo piece that worked with the Psionic Blast and the Volcanic Eruption, but I'm going to rely less on the combos, so I don't need to Demonic Tutor for the COP Blue, which I can't because I'm using Regrowth instead of Demonic Tutor. So COP Blue is going to come out. Volcanic Eruption is also going to come out since I don't need to prevent the damage. This was a very expensive card to cast with 3 blue mana, and I did get it off for 2 colorless and 3 blue last month against the mono black deck. I did 2 damage to everything, including the Hypnotic Specters. So it worked 1 time, but it's not worth keeping in the deck, especially if I'm taking out basic islands. Let's see here. I'm gonna put in 1 copy of Unsummon. This will also help bounce creatures to their hand. It only costs 1 blue mana. It's good on the first turn as well. So if they play like Swamp, Dark Ritual, Hypnotic Spectre, and it's my turn, I can play Island Unsummon and bounce the Hypnotic Spectre back to their hand. I'm also going to take out another basic island. I don't need this in the deck. So that I'll have 16 mana, which is 40% of the deck. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 islands, 3 dual lands, Tropical Island, Tundra, Savannah. That's 10. And then 6 more basic lands. We have the basic forest and 5 basic plains. So that's our mana base. The last card I'm going to put in this month is going to be a counter spell just for threat diversity. I'm going to take out this Power Sink. I won't need 2 copies of Power Sink, but it's nice to have 1 in the deck just in case I want to counter a spell and tap out all their lands and then play Time Twister and Regrowth on my next turn. So Power Sink is going to come out instead. I'm going to put in 1 copy of Counter Spell. This I can always save in my hand. I can always flash keep 2 islands up and say maybe I've got a Counter Spell, and then if they do try to fireball me at the end or Pestilence for a bunch, I can counterspell some things and prevent the life-ending damage. So that's going to go in the deck as well. I'm going to keep it blue-white this month. The other thing they updated was the Mulligan rule, which used to be if you only have 0 lands or all lands in your opening hand, you could reshuffle and draw 7 new cards. They've updated that a little bit to include 1 land or 6 lands, so it's a little more easier to mulligan in the format in the league, and I believe it probably nerfs some of the land destruction decks that rely on your opponents having to keep a 1-land hand. That makes that less viable of an option in the format now that you can mulligan with 1 land or 6 lands. So if you were to just for example shuffle and then on a webcam game you make 3 piles and your opponent picks which piles you want to put in order to sort of cut the deck virtually, then you draw 7 cards and you look at your opening hand, and if your opening hand has only 1 land or 6 lands, you can mulligan. So this opening hand has 3 land, so we would obviously have to keep this one. We do have a Giant Growth but no green mana. We have a Time Twister. Our first card is a Tundra that we would draw. That's great because then we can play blue spells or white spells. This is pretty good opener. We can also get Time Twister right away, and maybe in turn 3 we could Time Twister. That's not bad. We could also counterspell something right away too. If they cast a card, we could pay 2 blue, counterspell their first creature, untap, draw. We did get Karma, but we'd want to play that later. We could play this Plains, and then I think right away I would just Time Twister on turn 3 and try to get a fresh 7 and Black Vices and get those out into play. I'm going to run this deck for the month of September. I'll let you know at the end of the month how it does. Leave your comments below. Give it a like if you like Alpha 40. I'll put the link to the rules in the league in the description as well if you want to check out more about Alpha 40. Follow all of my adventures in Alpha 40 and Las Vegas. Coming up, MagicCon. I'll tell you all about that in coming videos. Thanks everyone. Have a great month.